right, we are at BPTC MENA in Bahrain, speaking with Joey Berkhout, the Business Development Manager for EMEA for Hoover CS. Joey, thank you so much for speaking to OGN. My first question is, what problem does your tech solve for refiners dealing with heavier, more complex feedstocks?
Okay, so how refiners in general deal with heavier feedstocks is by upgrading feedstocks, and that goes through a couple of technologies. One is, two of which are ebulliting bed units such as LC finers, LC max units, but then you also have the fixed bed units, ARDS units, right? And these units deal with a lot of catalyst. And that is basically where our technology comes in unloading that catalyst. And we assist refiners in the speeding up and making that unloading process more efficient, and therefore getting them operational more quickly. So that's where we really shine and come in.
Okay, so and what problems do refiners come to you with?
So in the Middle East, the refining sector has kind of matured over the last couple of years, which means that any gains that are delivered towards the refineries are really incremental, small little incremental steps. So what it is that we do is we allow for the more expedient unloading of spent catalyst, and therefore shortening the amount of time that the unit is actually off stream. And that with a very large unit can be up to, well, a couple of days, 4 or 5 days even. And even, you know, if you look at that from annual scales, 4 or 5 days of additional operation is 1% increase in what the refinery produces from that particular unit. So that's really significant.
So in practical terms, what changes once this is solved?
So the units are just operational for a longer period of time, but additionally, in addition to that kind of that longer uptime, what also happens is that you minimize the amount of staff that is on site, the amount of manpower that needs to be allocated for any unloading activity. You cut away a lot of additional equipment that needs to be used. So you cut away drums, you cut away liners, you cut away pallets. And there's just a great increase in operational efficiency and operational cleanliness. And that's really what the solution would look like, what the situation would look like once our technology is incorporated.
So I assume that there are different parts to this. So what needs to be in place for all of this to work properly?
Yeah. So we operate on a rental model, which is really important because a rental model that promotes circularity, so the reuse of material. And what needs to be in place is that refineries need to start valuing their spent catalyst chain. So instead of stockpiling catalyst and keeping that on site for tremendous amounts of time, what refineries need to start doing is actually seeing the value inside that supply chain, or which isn't the supply chain, but that chain of spent catalyst going from the refineries. And instead of sitting on that material for months on end, unload it and get it moving, get it off site, because there's just a lot of value that you can unlock by actually implementing some of our products, and therefore, increasing your uptime, decreasing the amount of manpower, and so forth. And that can only be unlocked if the material actually moves. So that's what needs to start happening.
So we see the circularity or circular solutions as part of your name as well now, and the sustainability is now a board level priority. Yeah. How does your solution contribute to emissions reductions, energy efficiency, or circularity beyond the marketing claims?
Sure. So we have the experience that one of our assets has a lifetime of about 25 years, and they get used on average 3 to 4 times a year. Now, every time that one of our assets is used, it actually saves the production of 8 to 10 drums, or 2.5 pallets, and 10 liners. And multiplying that by 3, 4, and having that over a life cycle of 25 years, you're actually cutting away the manufacture of between 800 and 900 drums in its life cycle. And the production of steel, that is just a very carbon intensive process there. And you also have the deforestation issues with the manufacturing of pallets and the production of the liner. So that is just something that we completely cut away. Yeah. And I think the reduction that we actually got by doing an environmental analysis study was just about 92%.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
So that's really good. Yeah.
Quite good. Now, I would like to ask you if you could compare refiners in the Middle East to refiners elsewhere in the world, considering your experience? How would you see that?
Yeah, so refiners in the Middle East have really matured and their processes have really matured. As I said earlier, what needs to change in refineries in order for these solutions to be implemented is they need to start valuing that chain on the back end of their production. So their spent catalyst needs to start to be valued. And that is something that is happening continuously in Europe and in the US and even in places in Asia. They see the value in their spent material and they move it offsite straight away. And that is something which is a difference between the two industries, at least from our perspective. Okay. That is something that's important.
Oh. Your solutions in the Middle East, where have they been implemented or installed? Or?
Yeah. So we currently do a major project here in Bahrain, whereby we transport, I want to say, about 400 sea containers of fresh catalyst, about 600 sea containers of spent catalyst per year, managing an entire fleet for a very large-scale operation here. So we have that as a really good reference here. And we're breaking into other sections of the Middle East. We are currently conducting tests and trials in Kuwait, in Saudi, in Abu Dhabi. So we're really breaking into the market.
Great.
So that's where we are currently.
Well, Joey, it was a pleasure speaking to you.
Pleasure speaking to you as well. Appreciate it.